One of the most interesting things about Deltarune and its future chapters are the secret bosses. We had the cunning, mysterious Jevil in Chapter 1, showing his proficiency at battle by targeting our healer, and giving us our first taste into how difficult this game can be. Then, we had Spamton Neo, who's now initiated the game of soul powers, and though he proved to be easier against the entire team, became truly difficult when facing off against him alone at the end of a Snowgrave route. Each secret boss is not only hidden deep within their respective chapters, but are rewarding that effort to find them with powerful gear and the most fascinating item in the game, the Shadow Crystal. It's incredibly apparent, based on the way shopkeeper Sham talks about them and the fact that they appear on the chapter select screen, that the Shadow Crystals are incredibly important. So naturally, it should be our goal to continue collecting them by finding the secret bosses in chapters 3 and 4. But there's a bit of a problem. We have 2 Shadow Crystals. They weren't hard to get, all you had to do was some backtracking and talking to shopkeepers, and then defeat the boss, first by simple red soul dodging, and the second with the aggressive bullet-firing yellow soul. But the next secret fight, the one that's found deep within Chapter 3's entertainment world, it's different. Why? I'm almost positive that following Spamton's yellow big shots, the next soul power that's going to be used is the green soul. If you're curious why, I go into a lot more detail in my other Deltarune videos. The reason why this is so important is because unlike our dance with Jevil while red, or our fight against Spamton while yellow, the green soul, well, it renders us immobile, stuck, helpless. In Undertale, the only reason why we were able to survive against Undyne's incoming attacks is because she actually gives us one of her own spears in order for the fight to be fair. Notice how the shield that we maneuver around our immovable soul, it isn't green as an extension of our soul power. It's only there because our opponent was humble enough to let the fight be fair. But why wouldn't Chapter 3's secret fight be the same? Surely, whoever the secret boss is, they'll let us survive the same way that Undyne did, right? Well, I wouldn't be so sure about that at all. Let's read some of Sham's analysis on Chapter 3's secret fight. You have collected 2 Shadow Crystals, but don't let down your guard. I feel your next opponent may be... In reality, it may be impossible to win, unless you use the power of the Shadow Mantle. I can't find it. Did someone take it? Well now, there goes your one chance of victory. Unfortunately, without the Shadow Mantle, at 2 you may remain. Fate is approaching, and it is not on your side. If you ask me, it sounds like this foe is going to take full advantage of the Green Soul's immobilization and strike us down while we're completely helpless. The Shadow Mantle is an interesting thing, because it does seem like, with the context of Chapter 3's Green Soul, that this would be the perfect item to be able to defend ourselves in that fight. However, no matter what you do throughout Chapters 1 and 2, if you get all the recruits, get every item, get both of the Shadow Crystals, the eggs, do the Snowgrave route, Sham always loses the Shadow Mantle. There's no way to get that one seemingly convenient item, a reward for collecting the previous chapter's crystals, that seems like it would be the perfect way to counter the next boss. And, you know, I really didn't think too much about it, until a couple of days ago, when a couple new Spamton Sweepstakes pages emerged out of nowhere, I really started to wonder, just how are we going to defeat the next secret boss and secure ourselves that next Shadow Crystal? The page that mentioned it was deltarune.com/ROMB, which I honestly have no idea why it's named that. The page that's used to get here, which I swear used to be called deltarune.com/greenroom, is called deltarune.com/RAMB. It might just be gibberish, either way it's not that important. This page, which is accessed by clicking on the counter in the green room, features an ordinary looking double door. First of all, this door looks nothing like the jaggedy shaped ones we see in the green room. It honestly, given the lighting and the color scheme, almost looks like a door you'd find in the light world, but given that the color palette doesn't match any of the interiors or exteriors of any building in Hometown, I don't think it is. When opening this door, the screen goes black. Wait a couple seconds, and then text will suddenly appear on the screen. If only you had the blank, your luck might have gone another way. No blank, no crystal, with crystal capitalized, by the way. Again, they're obviously trying to let us know that the crystals are important. There's also a sound effect that plays when clicking on the blank spaces. When I first saw this, my immediate thought was Shadow Mantle, but it's weird, right? We know what the Shadow Mantle does. We know it was, according to Sham, our only salvation in a Green Soul situation. So why leave these spaces mysteriously blank? Why put this here and make it all mysterious in the first place? Also, would a mantle, which might be defined as an enveloping cloak, acting as some kind of shield-like power-up, would it really make this noise? The name of the sound effect is ma.og, which could stand for mantle, but really? Is the Shadow Mantle really the answer to this riddle? That just seems too obvious, and plus, the Shadow Mantle is gone. Sham says someone took it, but who exactly is breaking into Sham's shop and then coming with us into Chris's Dark World? No one? There's one last thing about this page that I forgot to mention. In those few seconds of pure black after opening the double doors, there's an invisible square floating around the screen. Clicking on this square plays the same sound effect, ma.ogg, and then flies off the screen. The header of the page then changes from something ominous about Berdley's death into, "You can never defeat us, let's rumble." Then the page redirects to deltarune.com/chapter3. The floating invisible square could represent one of two things. Either one, it represents the Shadow Mantle flying out of reach when we try to grab it, or two, it's the secret boss who will fly around in-game in this exact same way, and who are the ones saying these words. You can never defeat us because we turn your soul green. Also, us. I don't know about you guys, but the first thing I think of when I think us and Chapter 3 is the weather duo. Let's rumble could even be one of their catchphrases, like the rumble of thunder. Regardless of whether or not these two end up being Chapter 3's secret fight, which, honestly, despite this hint, seems like something Toby Fox would absolutely refrain from revealing before the release of the chapter, there's one clear thing to take away from this. There is a clear issue when it comes to defeating the third secret boss, due to the nature of the green soul. Unlike the last two chapters, you can't just walk in and fight it with pure dodging skill. You're going to have to find some kind of item from somewhere in the chapter to be able to survive against this boss. The only question remaining is it the Shadow Mantle or is it something else? For all the reasons I mentioned before, I'm having a bit of a hard time seeing the Shadow Mantle just re-emerge randomly within Chapter 3. It just doesn't make much sense. So there's one more thing that I could think of that could replace the Shadow Mantle as the key to defeating Chapter 3's secret boss. What happens when a Lightner enters a Dark World? Well, they change in appearance. They gain powers and weapons that they've never seen before. Who exactly are the Lightners that are going to be falling into Chris's Dark World? Well, we have Chris, obviously, we have Susie, Toriel, who's in the same room, but there's one more. Undyne, the same character who not only turns our soul green in Undertale, but hands us a spear in order to protect ourselves under the green soul's immobilization. In the Dark World, Undyne will most definitely have her spears back. It's her signature weapon, perfect for her Dark World form. So maybe the key to surviving Chapter 3's secret boss is as simple as getting Undyne to join the party and taking her to the secret boss. I really think that this text here is nothing more than a taunt, because there's no way to get the Shadow Mantle. It can be interpreted the same way as Sham's dialogue, where he laughs at us after discovering that the mantle is gone. Instead of looking for a mantle, we're going to have to get Undyne to join our party before engaging with the secret boss, in order to get our hands on that third Shadow Crystal. That's my theory anyways. Undyne's involvement in the chapter just seems like a much better solution to the Green Soul, with the Shadow Mantle just feeling more like a red herring than anything. While we're on the topic of secret bosses and their soul powers, we might as well mention Chapter 4's secret boss, which we certainly can't forget about because, well, we'll be able to play that chapter as well. I concluded, again with evidence I discussed in my other Deltarune videos, that this boss will turn our soul purple. The purple soul color is interesting because the way it functions is based off the character associated with it, Muffet the Spider. The lines we jump between are supposed to be representations of spider string, and the items that we have to dodge consist of spiders and their pastries. The thing is, Muffet is most likely not going to reappear in Deltarune, which is apparently because she was a character that was only added due to Undertale's Kickstarter campaign, and some controversy involving the commissioner that honestly I'd rather not learn about. So the purple soul could honestly have a completely different function in Deltarune Chapter 4. The yellow soul was already pretty different from the one we see in Undertale, with it being flipped on its side instead of upside down, and with the addition of big shots. The important thing is that it's not going to be as suffocating as the Green Soul's immobilization, so we probably won't need to find some kind of special defense. Chapter 5's Blue Soul though, that's going to be very interesting, but unfortunately we're gonna have to wait a bit longer for that one. My very last comment about the Green Soul thing is this scene from the direct trailer. There's the immobilized soul, the shields to protect from incoming projectiles, but it's a confusing shot because there's no Green Soul, no boss, there's a scoring system. To me, this just looks like a minigame that uses the Green Soul's fight mechanic that can be played in Castletown or somewhere after Chapter 3. It doesn't really solve the Shadow Mantle mystery because these things could just be a replacement for either a spear or a mantle, but it's our first look into how it's going to work. There are only 3 weeks left until the next chapters come out, and I'm over my head with excitement. I can't wait to see if my theories are actually correct, but above all, I just can't wait to properly play this game for the first time in almost 4 years. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wow. That ending. What was that? Continue chapter 3. Wow. Since this is absolutely the last Deltarune video I'll be making before the next chapters come out, please, in the comments, put your last theories, your final predictions, things you're hoping for, things you're gonna look out for. Besides the page I discussed in this video, what do you guys think all the new stuff in Spamton Sweepstakes means? The how long did it take her to smile page was especially interesting. I only got a blank email back from that. I wish I would have put together that it was actually asking us a question. But yeah, June 4th is the day. If you're interested, I'll probably be streaming the game on either my second channel or on my Twitch. Highlights from that might be posted here, and you can bet that I'll have a lot of thoughts, which I'll be turning into videos for this channel. So subscribe so you don't miss that. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on June 4th.